I'm doing a mini session for one of my patrons. There aren't any goals, so I'm going to be sharing energy healing and wisdom as guided by spirit. If any of you are interested in exploring a mini session, I highly encourage you check out Patreon. I've got a link in the description. I also do individual sessions. You can book those at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. All right, I'm going to relax and get tuned in, and we will see what the wisdom and healing is for this patron today. All right. And thank you so much for sharing with the outside world. We can all learn something from everybody. Oh boy. There's a lot of black and white, and it's smooth like a dice, but it isn't small, and there's sections to it, almost like dominoes, you could say. Black and white dominoes. And they are laid down. So there is a bit of a, like if they had all fallen, you would see they aren't flat. They're actually fallen on top of each other, and they kind of create a line. It's very smooth, white, and then black. It's creating a snake. I mean, I literally am following the dominoes around, and it literally is a snake. And I am to define them as fallen dominoes. And this is a really cool message, because when you take the time to set the dominoes up, it takes a lot of time, and it even takes skill and effort to make sure that they're set up just right so that when they fall, they create this perfect pattern. And the dominoes have fallen, and they've created a perfect pattern, and it looks just like a snake. And it's really wonderful to see it. So because the dominoes have fallen is actually a gift. It's a beautiful thing because it's revealing something in a new way. So when the dominoes were all set up, and now when the dominoes have fallen, somehow they all kind of come together as this perfect reflection of a snake, okay? But there's a separation between you and this image. It's almost like you can look at it, but not fully merge with it, not fully become one with it. Oh boy, this is emotional on my eyes, and I feel there's like bats are coming from the backside, and they're kind of screaming, and they're flapping their wings, and they're hitting me on the back of my head. And there's a screaming sound. And I see this, I want to call it a conflict, but I also don't want to call it a conflict. But there's this experience with the bats and the screaming and the batting on the back of the head. And then there's this experience of balance. And the dominoes have fallen in the image of a snake. And I see you standing here and wanting to become one with the snake, but all you can do is look at it. It's almost like looking at really neat artifacts in a museum and like, whoa, I really wish I could have participated in something having to do with these artifacts, but all I can do is just look at them and feel separated. And I want to feel a part of. I want to feel a part of the snake. And so there's a conflict, right? There's a desire to go deeper into something more. And it is spiritual. It has an ancient vibe to it. It has a history to it. A longing to connect to your soul history. A longing to connect with the earth history. A longing to feel more tuned into our planet and to nature and to animals and to humanity and to this experience here on Earth. Is very focused to planet Earth and the human race, which is actually beautiful for me to feel that. There's a lot of times I go into energy field and it's like, what can I do to get out of here? And people project themselves off the planet without realizing it. But the more that you can feel connected to the earth, connected to the plants, connected to the animals and insects and the human beings here, the more enriched your life can become. Because you have to be here. That's why you were born here. This is your home. And you're really amplifying your connection with the planet. It's absolutely beautiful to feel that. So while there's conflict, to me, it's just part of how we move through life. It's part of the domino effect. So we desire something and it helps us to grow and expand and see more into ourselves. So that's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. It's part of the path. These bats are a pain in the butt. They're annoying. They're rude. They're disrespectful. And I see you choose not to face them. You look the other way and you just, you just ignore them. But the bats cannot be ignored. And I see a vulnerable part of you is shaking and you want to just have an outburst. You literally, it might be disturbing for some, but I see you literally want to take a hammer, grab one of the bats, put it on the ground, and smash its head with a hammer. That's how pissed off you are. That's literally the scene. And you cry over this. You are in tears. Because you see that you see the frustration, you see the anger, you see the violence. And I'm having you look at it, and you have to feel safe with your own emotions, no matter what they are. There's a thing called following through, or feeling and processing it inside. There's different ways that we work through our emotions in life. Sometimes we actually follow through with it, and sometimes we work through it inside ourselves and ask the questions and vent it and talk to our friends and go for long walks and talk to God. So there's other ways of working through it, right? But for some reason in the energy world, you needed to have a very vicious snake-like reaction to those bats. You needed to harm them. In the energy world, that was appropriate. Seeing a human being smash the bat's head with a hammer is hard to look at, but when you see a snake actually attacking another animal, it seems like nature, right? It seems appropriate, it seems like it's in the balance. However, those bats and the snake within had to have an interaction, and the snake had to come out. Because in a way, these bats needed to feel the poison in order for them to learn their lesson. And I know how hard it can be for us to be, for those of us, for instance, who are working on patience and self-love and love of others and open-mindedness and communication and all these sort of virtues, right? Sometimes you have other souls who are behaving like absurd, relentless, annoying, screaming bats, and we have to be firm. We have to be more striking with the way that we are speaking, the way that we are expressing ourselves. And it might feel like, oh man, that's going to hurt their feelings. I mean, this is bold. This is direct. This is ruthless. But this is appropriate. This is appropriate. Snake's not going to put up with this. Snake in the wild would not put up with this. It's going to try to get away, or it's going to have no choice but to face it and attack and get it to stop. This conversation is calming the situation down, but you're still emotional about it. You want to live in a world where there isn't violence. The animals can do the animal thing, but the human... I don't want to live in a world where there's human violence even towards animals. But there's something of the nature of the human as well here. I want to tell you guys a story. And so, this is a story about bed bugs. And I heard this through the grapevine. And there was a guy who was practicing he really was resonating with Buddhist type vibes and didn't want to hurt any animals, any insects. He didn't want to hurt a fly, And he got a bedbug infestation and he could not kill the bedbugs. I almost think this is a true story that has actually happened here in Iowa. Because I heard about this and it perplexed me and I thought about it for a long time. And it's coming back to me right now. But the man lived with bedbugs, and the bedbugs then infested an apartment building. And he chose to cope with and live with the bed bugs and let them eat him alive, basically, because that's what bed bugs do. And then infest the entire apartment because he could not kill the bed bugs. So now we are faced with a reality, a practical reality. It's either you or it's them. And now everybody else is affected by your choice to not kill the bed bug, which is actually creating harm for you. So now it's you versus them. So sometimes life is it's gonna feel violent in a way. It's gonna have to be faced in a way where you're going to have to kill the bed bug. Or the bed bug will eat you alive and now everybody's in suffering. These are the very interesting life experiences that we all have and the stories that we can tell, right? But it's up to you guys to decide what this means to you. It's up to you. So let's see what this means to your energy field when I talk about this. I see why they were separated. Because the snake, to be the snake is to be really true to your instincts. You don't have to poison people or poison places or events, but you need to strike back at times. You will need in your life to strike back in a way that is a firm statement. And it is a clear and firm statement. Is that a violent thing, or is that the true snake nature within you? It's bringing balance to your energy field. It's bringing balance to your identity. It's bringing balance to your life. All right, that's what I have to share. Thank you so much. This was such a gift. Thank you so much for this experience, to connect with you, to share this message with you and with everybody here on YouTube. Thank you so much for this. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and I really appreciate all of you. And thank you again for being a part of my world here on YouTube.